want somebody to call you and check on you? Guess what? I have nobody to ever call and check on me. I call and check on her every day. Man, all that. I call her and check on her every day. Yeah, she gonna get up now, but I'ma still talk. I'ma still talk.
Season 12, Episode 15 offers a stunning twist that leaves both viewers and cast members in complete disbelief in the dramatic world of love and hip-hop Atlanta, where drama and personal difficulties frequently take center stage. One of the show's mainstays, Lil Scrappy, known for his volatile attitude and turbulent relationships, reveals a shocking revelation that nobody could have predicted. This news completely upends his already troubled marriage to Bambi and threatens to destroy the family they've worked so hard to build together. The episode opens with what seems like a typical day in the lives of Lil Scrappy and Bambi, who, despite their ups and downs, are dedicated to co-parenting and keeping things normal in their busy lives. They are spending time with their kids, trying to concentrate on their family bond. What seems like a quiet moment is actually much more intense behind closed doors. Darker things are coming. The serene exterior soon devolves into chaos. Scrappy, who has always been strong and resilient, speaks out about a painful discovery that has completely upended his world. Over the past few months, he's noticed a series of increasingly suspicious charges on his credit card statement, charges he doesn't remember making. At first, he dismisses them, thinking they could be a bank error or perhaps a mistake. But the charges continue to grow, bigger and more frequent, until they finally catch his attention. They weren't large sums, but they were all significant amounts, each more astounding than the last. It starts with a small purchase here, a dubious transaction there, but before long, the charges have accumulated to an astonishing total of $1 million. Scrappy, a man who has worked tirelessly over the years to advance his career and build his wealth, is shocked by the discovery. Initially, he believes someone must have stolen his card, perhaps a stranger or an acquaintance who had access to his money. But as he looks deeper into the charges, he notices a troubling pattern. They are all connected to his wife and not from random locations or unknown names. Bambi feels betrayed as Scrappy processes the revelation. How could someone so close to him have done this? He remembers moments in their relationship when he had let his guard down, allowing Bambi access to his financial accounts to pay for family expenses or handle emergencies. He never imagined that those small acts of trust would be used to exploit him so brutally. The emotional weight of this discovery begins to settle in, and the betrayal feels far deeper than just the money. It's about the breach of confidence. Bambi spent $1 million without his knowledge or approval, not just small amounts here and there, but significant sums that have caused irreparable damage. When Scrappy shares the gut-wrenching truth with his closest friends and family, his face is etched with devastation. Some are shocked, others furious, but almost all of them have one clear message. Scrappy must confront Bambi about what has transpired. They strongly advise him to get legal counsel and act quickly to protect his possessions. Scrappy is filled with dread about bringing his private life into the public eye, especially with his children involved. He wants to avoid this at all costs. As the couple sits down to talk about the matter, Scrappy chooses to confront Bambi, despite his internal conflict. The tension in the room is palpable. As Scrappy looks at Bambi, who initially seems completely unaware of the gravity of the situation, his heart begins to race. When Scrappy reveals the bank statements showing the full extent of the situation, Bambi's calm demeanor only makes things worse for him, as he feels utterly deceived. At first, Bambi denies everything, insisting that there must have been some misunderstanding. But Scrappy's evidence is undeniable, every charge, every expense. Her eyes widen in shock as she processes what Scrappy is accusing her of. The silence that follows feels oppressive as the reality of the situation sinks in. The altercation intensifies, with Scrappy pointing back at her as emotions flare. When Bambi's initial shock begins to wear off and the full impact of what she's done hits her, she breaks down in tears. She explains that the money wasn't spent out of greed or malice, but rather as a cry for help. She admits she felt overwhelmed and disconnected from everything, including Scrappy. Bambi confesses that she used the spending spree as a way to escape the stress of motherhood, marriage, and her own internal struggles. She justified it as a short-term fix to her problems. a way to feel in control of a life that often felt out of her control. For Bambi, this was an act of rebellion against the emotional pain she had been hiding, but for Scrappy, it was a deep betrayal. He finds it impossible to understand her justification, struggling to comprehend how she could break his trust so severely. In addition to the financial betrayal, she's also taken away his sense of security and his faith in their marriage. The revelation is not just about money, it's about the shattered bond between them. As the two of them try to navigate the aftermath of the devastating discovery, emotions run high. Bambi sobs uncontrollably, openly admitting to her mistakes. She confesses that she was trapped in a vicious cycle of emotional distress and self-doubt, even though she never intended to hurt him. Despite wanting to believe that Bambi is truly sorry, Scrappy can't shake the feeling that their trust has been irreparably broken. In contrast, Scrappy is cautious and skeptical, faced with the brutal truth that the woman he loved and thought he knew has betrayed him in a way that feels unforgivable. As the episode draws to a close, there's an overwhelming sense of ambiguity, leaving Scrappy emotionally drained and uncertain of what to do next. Is this the end of their tumultuous relationship, or will he be able to forgive Bambi and salvage their marriage? Meanwhile, Bambi must deal with the consequences of her actions, facing the aftermath of Scrappy's discovery and the fallout that's bound to follow. For fans of love and hip-hop Atlanta, this unexpected turn of events has left everyone on the edge of their seats, wondering if Scrappy and Bambi can overcome this scandal or if their relationship is forever broken. Bambi's decisions have jeopardized everything they've worked for, and now the future of their family hangs in the balance. Although time will tell, one thing is certain, their path together will never be the same.
The same I went through with Scrappy right now. You bitch! I went with Scrappy. That's what you are. You a bitch. Okay. That's what you are. Like you one thing. I don't give a about that. Bitch, you're second best. He followed me to the Dominican Republic. You know that hoe. He proposed to me first. He wanted to be with me. He wanted to marry me. I left. Let's see if he's what you I left. Why are you still arguing about her baby daddy? You're second best. Who do you want to see? When I see you in the street, you know where I'm. Oh, bitch, right the fuck in, bitch. You know I don't like you, bitch.
Oh, I said a fight?
Girl, what? Who am I doing? Let me out. You ain't gonna do that.
I ain't buy insurance
I was slapping you.
As the couple sits down to talk about the matter, Scrappy chooses to confront Bambi despite his inner turmoil. The tension in the room is palpable. When Scrappy looks at Bambi, who initially seems totally unaware of the gravity of the situation, her composed demeanor only worsens things for him. He feels deeply deceived as he shows her the bank statements with the growing charges. Bambi's face betrays nothing at first. She doesn't react immediately as she processes everything Scrappy is accusing her of. As the reality of the situation begins to set in, her eyes widen in shock. The silence that hangs between them is suffocating as the weight of the discovery hits her. At first, Bambi denies everything, insisting there must have been some sort of miscommunication or error. But Scrappy's proof is undeniable, every charge, every expense. The altercation heats up, with everything pointing directly to her. Bambi's initial shock begins to fade, and the full consequences of her actions come crashing down on her. She begins to sob uncontrollably and attempts to explain herself in a way that Scrappy finds hard to believe. Bambi claims that the money wasn't spent out of malice or greed, but rather as a desperate cry for help. She admits she was struggling to juggle the overwhelming demands of parenthood, her marriage, and her own personal issues. Feeling cut off from everyone around her, including Scrappy, she turned to spending as a way to cope. Bambi explains that her spending spree wasn't a result of indulgence, but a short-term fix for the mounting stress she was experiencing. It was her way of regaining control in a world that often felt like it was slipping out of her grasp.